Good morning, it's Joshua Taylor coming to you from here outside of Hope, and nice and quiet here inside the city. It's so hard to do a video, and I did find my little headset to put on, just a remote Bluetooth. But anyway, I'd like to share something that my brother Jonnie had about a month ago in a dream. The Lord's raised him up in the last couple of years, and he's come in 2 years. The Lord's took him from the valley and put him on the mountain. He's growing so fast in the Lord. He's bypassed most of the people that I know. He's really a dedicated brother, and so the Lord's taking him under his wing, and supernaturally, Jonnie's being raised up by the Lord. He spends at least 8 to 10 hours a day in the Word, every day, continuously, no fail. Anyway, he was given a dream, and in this dream, he was given an experience about the mark of the beast. I think he had 3 different experiences, and where he wasn't just shown what's coming, he was allowed to experience the mark of the beast, like a virtual reality. And he said that the time is coming where they're going to put a chip in the back of your neck, like the chip on the forehead. They're not going to put a chip there. No, they're not going to put a chip there to control your mind. The chip is going to be put in the back of your neck, and he said that that looks like a little black dot with 2 little tits on it, and when they put it in the back of your neck, it's going to tie into your central nervous system. Like all your nerves will be linked into it. Okay, and he said at that point you'll have access to the internet. You'll be able to see the internet in your mind, and your mind, you'll be able to see it like inside your mind. It's going to bring you into a controlled matrix. And he was saying that it's not only going to give you access to unlimited knowledge, and where you're going to experience a lot of different stuff. Like the medicine is going to promise a lot of stuff, and he's going to come across with the goods, but it's only going to be for a time. It's to ensnare your soul. And that's what happened to Eve. She was told, well, you can become like gods. That that 90% that of our brain that we're not using can be activated, right? So what happened in the time of Adam and Eve, that God had to deactivate their mind. They had a complete mind, but he had to deactivate that part, where man was only able to use 10% of his potential after that point. So what the enemy's going to do, he's going to say, well, I can make you like a god by activating that other 90% of your brain, of all that junk DNA that's not being used. And it's going to be through that black chip that's going to be put in the back of your mind. That chip is not going to be put here. When it says in your forehead, it means the back of your mind, because that's how they're going to control your mind, right? The chip will be put on your right hand, right here, so you can buy and sell. Surveillance and tracking. And but then they're going to put another chip in the back of your mind, so you can access the internet. But also at the same time, it's going to monitor your thoughts. So if you think God, if you think love, if you think Jesus Christ, if you think a scripture, anything that has to do with God. Jonnie said that you're going to get this one heck of a shot of pain. It's going to give you pain in your mind. You're going to be tormented with unbearable pain. So those that take the chip in the back of their neck, the chip on the forehead, that's going to control their mind, they're already gone, because they're no longer got free thought. They become absolute, total captives of the enemy. So with this coming 5G, that and the launching of all these satellites, these LEO satellites, low Earth orbiting satellites, they're being launched, and by this time next year, that SKYNET will be complete. SKYNET will be complete. But the Lord showed Marie Sklar there's going to be the SKYNET over the earth, and then it's going to go dark. This time next year, the net will be complete, and then they're going to begin to draw it in. And so I believe we're at the apex, or right at the point where God's going to begin to, like in this coming move of God, this coming revival, God's going to gather the righteous. He's going to gather the righteous, and he's going to remove them from the cities and bring them, because they have been counted worthy to escape all things. And God's going to gather the righteous and bring the righteous into his barns, right? And it's not that you can take one big step and get to the end of your destination. It's going to take a couple steps. It's going to take one step of stepping out of the city and stepping into temporary camps first, where there's going to be an ingathering. And where the ingathering takes place, then they can prepare for the final exodus, right? There's going to be an exodus. Just like when the Lord showed me about the 7 open visions, and he showed me a convoy that was 50 miles long, but they were all situated on the east side of Surrey, on the east side of the Surrey. They weren't on the other side of the bridge. So all these 10,000 vehicles were situated there. We're talking a lot of area. But when the time came that they left, when the orders were given, they all left, and they formed this convoy. In the same way that the Lord's going to gather camps, temporary camps outside the city. These are the Goshen camps, right? Before the children of Israel went into the wilderness, God brought them together in Goshen. So there will be these Goshen camps where God's going to gather in the righteous, and this is where they're going to begin to prepare spiritually and begin to prepare in the natural to go into the final resting places. And because in the times that we're coming into, even these temporary camps are going to be overrun. And they're going to be outside of the major cities, maybe an hour's drive outside, wherever you can find a suitable spot, because you're going to need at least a farm. And if you got an acre of land, an acre of land is big enough where you can put together one camp of 100 people or 12 families on 1 acre. And so you might have a number of these camps on a farm. You could have maybe 500. You might have 1,000 people. But the reason for coming together is that it's going to take money and finances to build all the construction that's going to be required for at the end of the final destination. And so I think we're I know that we're very close, and this is the reason why the Lord's been having me to stop what I've been doing in the natural all these years, to learn to trust in Him, and to make the transition from working for man to working for Him. That's where I'm at, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I've always desired that, but I know that this is a time that God's bringing me from, you know, working for man to learn to trust in Him, because He's got a job for me to do. And over all these years, since 1988, He's been training and raising me up for such a time as this. You know, like Joshua and Caleb, they were the only ones of the older generation that entered into the promised land. The rest of them died. But God used Joshua and Caleb to lead the new generation of people into the promises, or into the kingdom. That's the job that the Lord has called me to. And so over the years, the Lord's He's blessed me with the prophetic writing, poetry, songs, a lot of writings. He's blessed me with a brilliant scientific mind. He's given me some of the best technologies in the world for energy and power that needs to be developed. He's perfected this building concept in me over these last 30 years, and it's like taking a university degree. You don't get it overnight. It takes time. It takes time for God to do a work in your heart. Okay, it's 12 minutes here. I just want to leave it here, and I'm going to get this uploaded right away. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you with a message on what Jonnie saw, my brother saw on the mark of the beast. That we're very close to that time. But we're very close to the time that the Lord is going to gather in His remnant, those who are worthy to escape the coming thing that's coming upon the world.